Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. So here we are in this chapter number 19, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu instructs Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. This is from MadhyaLila. And we have already seen till verse number 134. So at the beginning of this chapter, we were discussing about how Rupa and Sanatan were trying to escape from the Nawabs and take shelter of Śrīla Chaitanya Mahāprabhu. We also discussed how the two brothers reached there and how the third brother, Sanatan Goswami, was actually arrested. And so we were progressing. In the last session, we were talking about Chaitanya Mahāprabhu meeting Sri Vallabh Bhatt. He was such a great scholar and a wonderful devotee of the Lord, and he was very, very attracted to Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu. He invites him to Adila Gram, and Chaitanya Mahāprabhu visits there. And it was also mentioned, or rather we discussed in verse number 114 to 134 about Lord Chaitanya's mercy on Rupa and Sanatan. How Rupa and Sanatan could please the heart of Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, could steal his heart by their humility. So when they would say that I am extremely fallen and you should not touch me, They were not like showing off anything. They were not pretending. They were being very, very genuine when they were making that request. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased with that request. So now today we will enter into the next section, Lord Chaitanya's teachings to Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. So far we were discussing a lot about the pastimes. And here we will discuss about the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the philosophy of Supreme Lord Krishna, simplified and presented and given in the form of a formula to Rūpa Gosvāmī, which we will see that Rūpa Gosvāmī would be later writing in his books. And we are, all our philosophy, all what we understand, our understanding in ISKCON, our understanding in Brahma, Madhav, Gaudiya, Vaishnava Sampradaya, it is based on this section of Lord Chaitanya's teaching to Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. এই মত দশ দিনা প্রয়াগে রহিয়া শ্রীরূপে শিক্ষা দিলা শক্তি সঞ্চারিয়া. For 10 days, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at Prayag and instructed Rūpa Gosvāmī, empowering him with the necessary potency. So 10 days, such intense and deep association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as it is mentioned here, we discussed in the last session also, I pointed out Shakti Sanchariya, or he is giving. So ultimately the source, the powerhouse, the generator of this Shakti is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he is giving that Shakti. He is empowering Rūpa Gosvāmī. Prabhu kahe shuna Rūpa bhakti rase lakkhana Sutra Rupe Kahi Vistar Nayaya Virnana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "My dear Rupa, please listen to me. It is not possible to describe devotional service completely. Therefore, I am just trying to give you a synopsis of the symptoms of devotional service." So, Sutre Rupe. So, he is giving in a sutra. Sutra is the formula. So, he is giving it like a formula. And this is how I'm explaining you, and you please elaborate on that. Para para shunya gobhir bhakti rasa sindhu tomaya chakhaite tara kohi ek bindu. The ocean of the transcendental mellows of devotional service is so big that no one can estimate its length and breadth. However, just to help you taste it, I am describing but one drop. So the ocean is so big, and I am just giving you few drops of it. Eite brahmanda bhari ananta jiv gana 84 lakha yoni te karaye brahmana. In this universe, Eite brahmanda bhari, this universe is full of whom? Anant Jeevagan. There are countless, there are limitless living entities in this universe. 84 laksha yoni. So 84 lakh species. Yoni is species. Karaye Brahmana. And all are wandering within this universe. So me, you, and all of us, and in whichever room we are sitting. So if we have a plant, if we have some mosquitoes or insects, if we have lizard, whatever is there. So there are different yonis or species. So 84 lakh species are there, and we all keep traveling. So we think that we are going to Vrindavan, we are going to America, we are going to Canada, we are going to Mumbai. We think that is traveling. But like how that is traveling, similarly we are traveling in unlimited species form. 84 lakh varieties we keep changing. So it is almost like unlimited forms, and in one form it is not necessary that we are there only once. Sometimes we repeat those forms. So this is how we are all continuously traveling. Keshagra shate ka bhaga puna shatansh kori tarasama sukshma jiver swarupa vichari. The length and breadth of the living entity is described as 1/10,000th part of a tip of a hair. This is the original subtle nature of the living entity. So Keshagra, Kesh means hair and Agra means the tip of the hair. So when the tip of the hair, not the whole hair strand, just the tip of the hair which is like as insignificant as a dot. It is actually even lesser than a dot. So when that is divided into 1 by 10,000 parts, that tip is made into 10,000 parts. So that is the size of the original subtle nature of the living entity. That is the Swarupa of the living entity. Keshagrashat bhagasya shatamsha sadrishatmakaha jivah sukshma swarupoyam sankhyatito hi chitganaha. So now here actually this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. On the commentary of Srimad Bhagavatam, we will find this verse. And what is mentioned here, it is actually a Vedic verse which says, if we divide the tip of a hair into 100 parts, and then take one of these parts and divide it again into 100 parts, so which means 10,000 parts. That very fine division is the size of but one of the numberless living entities. They are all Chitkan, particles of spirit, not matter. So that tiny little portion, that 1 by 10,000, which is 1 by 10,000 size of the tip of the hair, that is the size of the living entity. And what is living entity doing? It is traveling in 84 lakh various species form. And this living entity is actually Chitkan. Chitkan means it is spiritual in nature. It is not material. So this whole body, this is material. When we die, the body is left behind and it is destroyed. So actually the death happens for the body, not for us. So us, we are all what? Chitkan. We are that spirit particle. Balagrashat bhagasya shatadha kalpitasya cha bhago jiva sajvigneya iti chaha parashrutihi. So this is again from the Vedic verses, and it is mentioned in Panchadashi Chitra Deepa. So it is from Shvetashvatar Upanishad. Again it says here, if we divide the tip of a hair into 100 parts and then take one part and divide this into another 100 parts, that 10,000th part is the dimension of the living entity. This is the verdict of the chief Vedic mantras. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has quoted point, and then he is giving the reference also. So how it is mentioned there. So he is, if we will see now, he is instructing this to Rupa Goswami, and then he wants Rupa Goswami to elaborate upon that. So he is giving the necessary reference also, where he can go and check and write the detailed commentary. Sukshmanam api aham jivaha. So this Krishna speaks in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 11th canto, when he says, among minute particles, I am the living entity. So there is nothing as tiny as the living entity, and that is the size of, that is we, and Krishna represents, amongst the tiniest things, Krishna represents the living entity. Tara madhya sthavar jangam doi bheda jangame tiryak jala sthalchar vibheda. The unlimited living entities can be divided into two divisions, those that can move and those that cannot move. Among living entities that can move, there are birds, aquatics, animals. So what are those who cannot move? So most of the plants, we see that they are stationary. The trees are stationary, they cannot move. So so basically it is divided into two categories, Thavar and Jangam. So one which is fixed and one which can move. In the mobile, so now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is focusing on the mobile living entities. He is telling that there are birds, aquatics and animals. Tara madhya manushya jati oti alpatara Tara madhyam licha polin baudha shabara. So Mahaprabhu is describing that how rare it is to find the human form of life itself. So see, there are 84 lakh species, out of which some are mobile and some are immobile. Amongst the mobile, there are living entities who have taken the form of the human beings. Manushya jati ati alpatar. So although the living entities known as human beings are very small in quantity, that division may be still further subdivided, for there are many uncultured human beings like Malichas, Pulindas, Baudhas and Shabaras. So here the Mahaprabhu is talking about the uncultured human beings. So basically these uncultured human beings refer to that category of humans who are, though they have taken the human body, but then they do not follow the Vedic scriptures. So they are not able to make much utilization of this human form of life. So Mahaprabhu is telling that even if we attain the human form of life, but if we get the body of a Milicha, Pulinda, Baudha or Shabaras, so still it is useless. Vedanishta madhye ardhek Veda mukhe mane Veda nishad paap kore dharma nahi gane. Among human beings, those who are followers of the Vedic principles are considered civilized. Among these, almost half simply give lip service while committing all kind of sinful activities against these principles. Such people do not care for the regulative principles. So now, as I was telling you, that those who are following Vedas, they are considered civilized. So we are just narrowing down. So living entities, mobile living entities, various types of animals, human beings who are uncultured or who do not have access to Vedic literature. And then now finally he is talking about those who have access to Vedic literature, but what they do, half of them, they are just giving lip service. So they are not truly the follower of the Vedas. So though they call themselves Hindu, and these days this Sanatan Dharma is picking up so much, it's becoming very, very important, people are feeling for it, but still so many, the vast majority of people, they do just the lip service while committing all kinds of sinful activities against these principles. So those are also not qualified to attain Krishna Bhakti. धर्मचारी मध्ये बहुत कर्मनिष्ठा कोटि कर्मनिष्ठ मध्ये एक ज्ञानी श्रेष्ठा. Among the followers of Vedic knowledge, most are following the process of fruitive activity and distinguishing between good and bad work. Out of many such sincere fruitive actors, there may be one who's actually wise. So what is happening is, majority of people, even if they are following the Vedic literatures, even if they are doing some sanskaras, some Vedic fire sacrifices, so all that, or some austerities, some vratas, etc. So all these activities are also basically connected with a fruit. So they are observing that because they want some result, and most of the time this result is material. So like there are various type of vratas which people do to have good husband or good wife, or want there is a particular vrata which the ladies observe for the well-being of their son and well-being of their husbands. So what is happening is that even if they are performing some austerity, they are looking for some results. And second thing is that they are doing good thing and they are avoiding bad thing, but they are not doing Krishna conscious things. So still they are stuck up with material, mundane piety. So that is what Mahaprabhu is telling, that there are so many people who follow Vedic literature, and out of many such sincere fruitive actors, there may be one who is actually wise. कोटि ज्ञानी मध्ये होया एक जन मुक्ता कोटि मुक्त मध्ये दुर्लभ एक कृष्ण भक्ता. So imagine how durlabh is this Krishna Bhakta. Durlabh means rare. So he is telling that koti jnani madhya. So previous verse we saw, out of so many who follow the Vedic knowledge, there are some who are doing the karma nishtha. They are doing the karma yoga. Out of so many karma nishtha bhakta, there is one who may attain the platform of Gyan. And now here it is mentioned, out of millions of such wise men, koti jnani madhya, so unlimited wise men, one may actually become liberated. And out of many millions of such liberated person, a pure devotee of Krishna is very difficult to find. So I will repeat the whole hierarchy once again so that it gets settled within us. So starting with living entities, 84 lakh yonis or species of living entities, out of which mobile and immobile. So living immobile, out of which mobile, in which there are birds, animals, aquatics, etc., in that narrowing down to human beings, in that narrowing down to cultured human beings, in that narrowing down to those who are following Vedic literature, in that narrowing down to those who are deleting those who are just doing the lip service. Out of those, there are very few who are karmanishtha, and out of the karmanishtha, thousands of karmanishtha, there is one who becomes jnani. Out of millions of jnani, one may actually become liberated. Liberated means he is still acquiring for mukti, he is acquiring liberation, so that is still a material thought. Why? Because he is done with this material world and he wants to attain moksha. So out of that we come to one, and out of many millions of such liberated person, we will fight Durlabh ek Krishna Bhakta. Krishna Bhakta nishkamate va shanta, bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakal ashanta. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ataiva Shanta. Krishna Bhakta. Nishkam means he has no material desires. So Krishna Bhakta is Nishkam Ataiva Shanta. He is peaceful. That is why he is peaceful. Because the devotee of Lord Krishna is desireless, he is peaceful. Bhukti. Bhukti means those who desire, who are fruitive workers, who desire material enjoyment. Mukti. Mukti, who wants mukti? The jnanis want mukti. Siddhi. Siddhi is the yogis desire some material siddhis. Like I want to become larger than the largest, or I want to walk on water, I want to fly in air. So these are different type of yogic siddhis. So those who desire siddhi, and kami. Kami are the lusty people. So all these people, fruitive worker desire material enjoyment, jnanis desire liberation, and yogis desire material opulence. Therefore all are lusty and cannot be peaceful. So bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami, sakali ashanta. And who's shanta? Krishna bhakta nishkam ataiva shanta. Muktanam api siddhanam narayana parayanaha sudurlabha prashantatma kotishu api mahamune. O great sage, out of many millions of materially liberated people who are free from ignorance, and out of many millions of siddhas who have nearly attained perfection, there is hardly one pure devotee of Narayan. Only such a devotee is actually completely satisfied and peaceful. So to substantiate that Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ataiva Shanta, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakala Shanta, Mahaprabhu is quoting this verse. So this also establishes that there is hardly one pure devotee of Lord Narayan. And because if he is a devotee of Lord Narayan, he is completely satisfied and peaceful. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasad Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. Brahmanda Brahmite. Brahmand is this entire universe. Brahmite, Brahm Karna, Brahman means roaming around, traveling. So Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan. Bhagyavan is absolutely lucky. So one very, very lucky person, what happens to him? Guru Krishna Prasad Pai. So he gets connected to a bona fide spiritual master. He gets connected to Krishna because he finds the Guru, and the Guru connects him to Krishna. So Guru Krishna Prasad. What is the Prasad of Guru and Krishna? Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. So then he acquires this Bhakti Lata, the seed of Bhakti. So the seed of Bhakti is implanted in our hearts through a bona fide Guru. And at this moment, I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude to Srila Prabhupada on behalf of all of us, that if he was not there, how we would have ever become so fortunate to attain. So we are all qualified in this category. It is mentioned, Bhagyavan Ji, we are all extremely fortunate. And who has made that fortune? None other than Srila Prabhupada. So if we read Prabhupada's biography, so many difficulties, so many challenges, and at such an advanced age, single person without any money, risking everything and going to the US just to give this message of Vedic literature, because people in India were at that time aping whatever the Western world was doing. So he thought that if I give it to the West, and we all would start following that, and that's why he goes there. And his Guru Maharaj has told that preach to English speaking people. So he translated this amazing book. Like for example, Chaitanya Charitamrta, it is written in Bengali. Now when I read Bengali, I understand a little bit, but Bengali is not my mother tongue. So how do I understand? By by reading Srila Prabhupada books. So Prabhupada is teaching us English, Prabhupada is teaching us Bengali, Prabhupada is teaching us some Sanskrit, Prabhupada is giving us Bhakti Lata Bij. According, some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary system and some are going down into the lower planetary systems. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. So this seed is given to us, and then what do we need to do? We just keep the seed? Then how that seed would sprout and how our bhakti would become strong? So we have to nurture the seed with water and manure. We have to protect the seed when it starts sprouting from other animals coming, and like the goat or the cow should not come and just eat my bhakti lata. So what I have to do is I have to nurture it. How do I nurture it? I nurture it with the 9 processes of devotional service. So when we were doing our course Bhakti Yoga Made Easy, which is available on our website StudyGita.com. So in the Bhakti Yoga Made Easy, we discussed in detail about all these 9 processes, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam. So all the 9 processes we discussed in detail, and all those 9 processes are basically to water our Bhakti Lata Bij. So Srila Prabhupada is giving us, Krishna has empowered Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada is providing us that seed. So it's a very potent seed. And what we have to do is just right quantity of water. So you can, if you have not attended that course, then you can go back to StudyGita.com and join that course, enroll for that course for Bhakti Yoga Made Easy. So there we learn about watering, and then we need to protect. So how do we protect this Bhakti Lata Bij? We protect this Bhakti Lata by avoiding non-devotional association and by staying in devotee association. So then our creeper would start growing, growing and flowering also. Malihana kare sei bij aropana, Shravana kirtan jale karaye sechana. So Mahaprabhu is telling here, when a person receives the seed of devotional service, he should take care of it by becoming a gardener and sowing the seed in his heart. If he waters the seed gradually by the process of Shravan and Kirtan, hearing and chanting, the seed will begin to sprout. So that is why in ISKCON there is so much emphasis upon hearing and chanting. So all of you are hearing now, you are hearing to a discourse of Chaitanya Charitamrta. And what we also do is we chant. So I hope we all have our beads and we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when we do this hearing and chanting, then the seed will begin to sprout. So Mahaprabhu is telling all of us that be that gardener and water the seed which Prabhupada has planted in your hearts. Upajiye bade lata brahman bhedi aya, viraja brahma loka bhedi paravyoma paya. Upajiya bade lata brahmand bhedi aya. So when one waters, what is happening is, see, we plant a seed, we start watering, and then tiny little sprout comes. And then it starts growing and growing and growing and becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And this creeper is going higher and higher. And what happens? As one waters the Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed sprouts and the creeper gradually grows to the point where it penetrates the wall of this universe and goes beyond the Virija river, lying between the spiritual world and material world. It attains Brahma Loka, the Brahman effulgence, and penetrating through that stratum, it reaches the spiritual sky and the spiritual planet Golok Vrindavan. So this is how Prabhupada started this magazine, which he calls Back to Godhead. So how can we go back to Godhead? We can go back to Godhead by sinchan, by taking care of the seed which is planted, and when the seed will start growing, so it grows and goes higher and higher and higher. So the outer boundary of the universe, it actually goes through that, it penetrates through that outer boundary of this universe, and then this material world and the spiritual world is divided by this river which is known as Virija river. So it grows beyond Virija river, it crosses the boundary of this material world, crosses Virija river, and it enters into the spiritual world. It also crosses the Brahma Jyoti, and it straight takes us to Golok Vrindavan. Tabe yata upari Golok Vrindavana Krishna Charan Kalpa Vriksha Kore Arohana. Being situated in one's heart and being watered by Shravan Kirtan, the bhakti creeper grows more and more. In this way, it attains the shelter of the desire tree of the lotus feet of Krishna, who is eternally situated in the planet of Golok Vrindavan, in the topmost region of the spiritual sky. So when our creeper keeps growing, how it is growing? By Shravan Kirtan. So it is growing, and then ultimately it reaches to the lotus feet of Krishna. And what is the lotus feet of Krishna compared to? So it fulfills all the desire. It attains the shelter of desire tree. So Krishna's lotus feet is compared to Kalpa Vriksh, or desire fulfilling trees. So we reached there. Taha vistarit hana phole prema phala iha mali seche nitya shravanadi jala. The creeper greatly expands in the Golok Vrindavan planet, and there it produces the fruit of love for Krishna. Although remaining in the material world, the gardener regularly sprinkles the creeper with the water of hearing and chanting. So all this is happening by constantly hearing and chanting. So we must cultivate this habit. We must make it a habit to regularly, like the classes happen once a week, but we must have we must fix our daily reading assignments also, because you know what is happening when we are reading and we are chanting. So this creeper is reaching Golok Vrindavan and it is producing fruits there. It's becoming so attracted to Krishna, and Krishna is fulfilling all these spiritual desires. So for that we need to keep our Bhakti Lata Bij nourished, and that nourishment is provided by hearing and chanting. Yadi Vaishnav aparadha uthe hati mata upade vachinde tara shukhiyaya pata. If the devotee commits an offense at the feet of a Vaishnava while cultivating the creeper of devotional service in the material world, his offense is compared to a mad elephant that uproots the creeper and breaks it. In this way, the leaves of the creeper are dried up. So here is a warning by Sriman Chaitanya Mahāprabhu. Mahaprabhu is warning us that this is all happening very nicely. You are reading, you are chanting, and the Bhakti Lata is going up higher and higher and higher. It may have reached Golok Vrindavan. So everything is happening perfectly. But it can be completely uprooted from here. And how can it be uprooted? So just like if I have, let's say, a mango grove and some mad elephant enters there, he may start uprooting those trees. Or if I have a beautiful rose garden, again a mad elephant enters and it will uproot all that. So similarly, this Vaishnav offense, Vaishnav Ninda, it is equal to what? It is equal to that mad elephant entering in the forest. So it will actually pull it out. It will remove our bhakti, whatever we have. So the whole creeper would be destroyed if we commit any offense at the lotus feet of Vaishnavas. So Vaishnavas here refers to the devotees of the Lord, and we must be extremely careful and affectionate in our dealings with the devotees of the Lord. Otherwise, it has the potency of destroying our entire bhakti lata. Tate mali yatna kori kore avarana aparadha stira yaiche nahaya udgama. the gardener must defend the creeper by fencing it all around so that the powerful elephant of offenses may not enter. So this is the duty of the gardener, to defend the creeper by creating the fence around it. किंतु यदि लतार संगे उठे उपशाखा भुक्ति मुक्ति वांछयता असंख्य तार लेखा. Now there is another warning. So Mahaprabhu has explained the rarity of becoming a devotee. He has also explained who can plant that seed of bhakti, and he has described that what is the effect and how to nurture. Now he is telling how to protect, how to cultivate. So he is telling sometimes unwanted creepers, such as the creepers of desire for material enjoyment and liberation from the material world, grow along with the creeper of devotional service. The varieties of such unwanted creepers are unlimited. So if we see in the second line of the shloka, it says bhukti mukti vancha. So I may start desiring something like material enjoyment. So I may be progressing well, I may be chanting nicely, and simultaneously I may get this desire of, what if I get a promotion? What if I travel abroad? What if I get married to such and such person? That will fulfill my heart. So if I start desiring such things, or mukti, I start desiring to merge in the Brahma Jyoti. So all these desires are compared to the weeds. So this is all unwanted. So like when there is a garden, when let's say I'm maintaining a rose garden, and then there are some weeds. So it's the gardener's job to remove the weeds also. So similarly, Mahaprabhu is telling that along with our bhakti lata, there are some unwanted creepers which may grow, and it is our job to take care of it. Nishidhachara kuti nati jiva himsana labha puja pratishtadi yata upasakha gana. So Mahaprabhu is giving examples of more such unnecessary creepers or the weeds. So some unnecessary creepers growing with the bhakti creepers are the creepers of behavior unacceptable for those trying to attain perfection. Diplomatic behavior, animal killing, mundane profiteering, mundane adoration, and mundane importance. All these are unwanted creepers. So, kutinati, we are doing lot of politics. So that is not okay. Or Jeev Himsa. So we indulge into animal killing, or maybe we are vegetarians, but our job is something which requires, like when I start working in a leather tannery. So Jeev Himsa. Or I have some desire like Labh, my personal profit. I want to increase my profit. Puja, I want adoration. I want people to worship me. Pratishtha, I want some pratishtha in the society. I want some position. So I want power, position, profit, or I am having diplomatic behavior, or I am indulging in animal killing. So all such things are like the unwanted creepers, and we must protect our bhakti from such creepers. Seka jal pana opa shakha body yaya Stabdhana moola shakha badite na paya. If one does not distinguish between the bhakti creepers and other creepers, the sprinkle of water is misused because the other creepers are nourished while the bhakti creeper is curtailed. Now, how would it happen that I am giving the same water, Shravan Kirtan, then how the other creepers would flourish? So let's take an example that, let's assume you have a very nice voice. And when you sing the kirtan, it is like the Gandharvas have come and they are singing the kirtan. And so you start singing the kirtan, and you are invited for various temple programs to lead the kirtan. And when you lead the kirtan and people come behind you and tell, oh Prabhuji or oh Mataji, you do such good kirtan. And then what is happening within me? Yeah, I want to hear more such compliments. It is really good. So I start looking for that man. I start looking for that puja. I start looking for that worship. So then, though I am doing kirtan, but I am not being careful, and the other weed is started to grow rather than the creeper of devotional service. So we need to be very careful. Prathame upashakar karayeche dana, tabe mool shakha badi aya vrindavana. As soon as an intelligent devotee sees an unwanted creeper growing beside the original creeper, he must cut it down instantly. Then the real creeper, the Bhakti Lata, grows nicely, returns home back to Godhead, and seeks shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna. So we have to be very careful, even when we are doing devotional service, why we do what we do. So am I doing the kirtan for the pleasure of the devotees and the Lord, or am I doing kirtan because I want some adoration? When I am cooking for Krishna, am I cooking wholeheartedly for Krishna, or I have some ulterior motive? So all the activities, all the devotional activities, what I am doing, what is my desire behind that? That desire should always be to please my superiors, to please my authority, my spiritual authority, to please my Guru Maharaj, to please Srila Prabhupada, to please the Supreme Lord. Prema phala pakhi pade mali asvadaya, lata avalambi mali kalpa vriksha paya. When the fruit of devotional service becomes ripe and falls down, the gardener tastes the fruit and thus takes advantage of the creeper and reaches the desired tree of the lotus feet of Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. So we have to patiently nourish the creeper and wait for it to reach Golok Vrindavan. Sorry. Taha se kalpa vriksher karaye sevana, sukhe prema phala rasa kare asvadana. There the devotees serve. So when we reach there, what we do? There the devotees serve the lotus feet of the Lord, which are compared to a wish-fulfilling tree. With great bliss, he tastes the juice of the fruit of love and becomes eternally happy. So this is the process of staying happy forever. That we get connected to Krishna, we reach there and we start serving him. Eta parama phala param purushartha, yanra age trina tulya chari purushartha. To taste the fruit of devotional service in Golok Vrindavan is the highest perfection of life. And in the presence of such perfection, the four material perfections, religion, economic development, sense gratification and liberation, are very insignificant achievement. So here actually people who stay in this material world, like generally people believe that you follow the Vedas and then you attain perfection. And what is that perfection? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. You do religion, follow religious principle. Dharma, artha, you get money. Kam, you can fulfill all your sensual desires, and ultimately moksha or liberation. So these four are considered the purushartha, but here Mahaprabhu is talking about the param purushartha, or the topmost perfection. So the topmost perfection is Krishna Prem, where we attain Golok Vrindavan, where we are there with Supreme Lord serving him. So that is the highest perfection, not dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So many people, they follow the religious principles or they follow the Vedic principles to fulfill their artha, desire for money, and kam, or these sensual desires. But ultimately the most important or the best of all is Golok Vrindavan. As long as there is not the slightest fragrance of pure love of Krishna, which is the perfect medicinal herb for controlling Lord Krishna within the heart, the opulences of the material perfections known as the siddhis, the brahmanical perfections, satya, shama, titiksha, and so on, the trance of the yogis, and the monastic bliss of Brahman, all seem wonderful for men. So actually the topmost perfection is attaining Krishna's pure love. And unless that is attained, everything else is useless. Shuddha bhakti hoite hoya prema utpanna, ataiva shuddha bhaktir kahiye lakshana. When one is situated in pure devotional service, he develops love of Godhead. Therefore, let me describe some of the symptoms of pure devotional service. So, Mahaprabhu has explained the rarity of attaining, the process of attaining, the process of protecting, and the end result or the perfection. Now he is telling that, so let me describe you some symptoms. Let me define what is pure devotional service so that you can do that and then attaining that result. Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadyanavratam anukulyena krishna shilanam bhaktiruttama. When first class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy, and fruitive action. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. So, Anya means other. Abhilasha is desire. Anya abhilashita shunyam. All other desires become shunya, which means there is no material desire. Gyan, karma, adi, anavratam. Gyan yoga, the process of Gyan yoga, the process of karma yoga or fruitive activities, anavratam, which is free from this. Anukulena Krishna anushilanam. So what does the devotee desire? The devotee desires constantly serving Krishna favorably as Krishna wants. That is the definition of pure devotional service. So 1, I do not have any material desire. 2, I do not want to acquire the knowledge like how Jnanis acquire and try to merge in Brahma. 3rd, I do not have, or rather I do not perform any fruitive activity, the karma kandis activity. And 4th, my only desire becomes, let me serve Krishna constantly, favorably as he desires. Anya vancha anya puja chhadi jnana karma anukulya sarvendriya Krishna anushilana. A pure devotee must not cherish any desire other than to serve Krishna. He should not offer worship to the demigods or to mundane personalities. He should not cultivate artificial knowledge which is devoid of Krishna consciousness. And he should not engage himself in anything other than Krishna conscious activities. One must engage all one's purified senses in the service of the Lord. This is the favorable execution of Krishna conscious activities. So Mahaprabhu is describing what we should do and what we should avoid. So anya vancha, anya puja chhadi, sab kuch chhodkar, we give up all other desires, we give up mundane adoration, we stop worshipping the demigods, stop worshipping the demigod in the sense that we understand their position and we offer them respect, but not to worship them as the Supreme Lord. And we do not cultivate anything which is devoid of Krishna consciousness. Basically, we are focusing our mind with our mind, senses and intelligence in the service of the Supreme Lord. Ei shuddha bhakti iha hoite prema hoya pancharatre bhagavate lakshan kaya. These activities are called Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service. If one renders such pure devotional service, he develops his original love for Krishna in due course of time. In Vedic literatures like the Pancharatras and Srimad Bhagavatam, these symptoms are described. Sarvapadhi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktiruchyate. So this verse is quoted by Rūpa Gosvāmī in his book Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, which we know as Nectar of Devotion. Prabhupada has translated as Nectar of Devotion. So what this verse says, Sarva means all the upadhi or the designations. So Sarva upadhi vinirmuktam, free from all the material designation. Tat paratvena nirmalam. Nirmalam is purified, and when purifies his senses in that way. Rishikena rishikesha. So serving the master of the senses, sevanam bhaktir uchyate. So let's read the translation. Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. one is freed from all material designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. So all what we have to do is pure devotional service. So we read that verse, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Adi Anavratam. So like that we have to be free from all other desires and desire only to serve Krishna. And if we are doing that, and if we are engaging all of our senses in the service of the Lord, then there are twofold results. One, that one is freed from all material designation. So I am this body, and everything related to me as the body impacts me a lot. It disturbs me a lot. If somebody says something and I may feel hurt, but actually that person is talking about my body, not me as a person. So that way, if I am doing pure devotional service, I would be free from material designations, and ultimately that way I'll be free from all the anxieties which is caused to me because of my material designation. And then the senses are purified because the senses are employed in the service of the Supreme Lord. Madhaguna Shruti Matrena Mai Sarva Guhashaye Manogatir Avichinna Yatha Gangam Bhasom Buddho. Just as the celestial waters of the Ganges flow unobstructed into the ocean, so when my devotees simply hear of me, their minds come to me. I reside in the hearts of all. So just like Ganga naturally flows towards the ocean, effortlessly flows towards the ocean. Even if there are certain blockages, Ganga changes its trajectory and it goes towards the ocean. So it is mentioned, simply, my devotees simply hear of me, their mind comes to me. So similarly, my devotees' minds are always attracted towards me, the Supreme Lord. Lakshanam bhakti yogasya Nirgunasya hi udahritam ahaituki avyavithita ya bhakti purushottame. These are the characteristics of transcendental loving service to Purushottam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is causeless and it cannot be obstructed in any way. So this is the characteristic of devotional service. Salokya sarshti samipya Sarupyaiktavam diyamanam na grihananti vina matsevanam janaha. So now when we talk about mukti, when we talk about liberation, so basically there are 5 types of liberation. So that is what Chaitanya Mahāprabhu is talking here. Salokya, Sarshti, Sarupya, Samipya and Sayuktya. So 5 types of liberation, and he's telling that my devotees do not desire that. So Salokya means residing in the same palace or the same place, same loka. So in the same loka of Krishna. Sarshti, having same opulences like Krishna. Sarupya, having the same bodily form, like I just look like Krishna. Samipya, I stay close to Krishna and oneness with me or merging in Krishna. So all these ekatvam, so all these type of mukti, he's telling that a pure devotee, he does not desire these 5 types of liberations also. Sa eva bhakti yogakhya atyantika udahritaha yena tirvrajtri gunam madbhavayopapadyate. Bhakti yoga, as described above, is the ultimate goal of life. By rendering devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one transcends the modes of material nature and attains the spiritual position on the platform of direct devotional service. So if we follow the process of direct devotional service, then ultimately we attain perfection. Bhukti mukti adi vancha yadi mone haya sadhana karile prema utpanna nahaya. If one is infected with the desire for material enjoyment or material liberation, he cannot rise to the platform of pure loving service unto the Lord, even though he may superficially render devotional service according to the routine regulative principles. So a person may be performing devotional service externally, superficially, and he may still get infected with the desire. So if a person is infected with this desire for material enjoyment or material liberation, one cannot rise to the platform of pure devotional service. So as a routine, he may be following the processes, but he will not be able to rise up because he has this desire for material enjoyment. So this desire takes me away. So my desire to serve Krishna gets contaminated or mixed by the desire for my personal enjoyment also. And so I do not rise to the platform of loving service to the Lord. Bhukti mukti spriha yavat pishachi hridi vartate tavad bhakti sukhasyatra katham abhudayo bhavet. The material desires to enjoy the material world and the desire to become liberated from material bondage are considered to be two witches, and they haunt one like ghosts. So what are the two witches? The desire to enjoy the material world and the desire for liberation. So these two things are like witches and they haunt one like ghosts. As long as these witches remain within the heart, how can one feel transcendental bliss? As long as these two witches remain in the heart, there is no possibility of enjoying transcendental bliss of devotional service. So we need to be very, very careful of these two things, bhukti and mukti. So if I am desiring bhukti and I am desiring mukti, bhukti means material enjoyment and mukti is liberation. So if I am desiring these two things, I will not attain transcendental bliss. Sadhana bhakti hoite hoye rati rudaya rati gadha hoile tare prema nama kaya. By regularly rendering devotional service, sadhana bhakti, to bhakti ki sadhana karna, regulated way performing devotional service, one gradually becomes attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ratira uday. Rati means attachment. So natural feeling of attachment to the Supreme Lord comes. When that attachment is intensified, rati gadha hoile. So gadha means thick ho rahi hai. Rati or attachment is becoming thicker. It becomes love of Godhead. So when my attachment to Krishna increases, my material desires reduces, and finally I reach at the point where my material desires is shunya and my attachment to the Supreme Lord is immense, then that gets transferred into love of Godhead. Prema vriddhi krame nama sneha mana pranaya raga anurag bhava mahabhavahaya. So now this prema or the attachment to the Supreme, this love of Godhead, that also has different degrees. So the basic aspect of prema, when gradually increasing to different states, are affection, abhorrence, love, attachment, further attachment, ecstasy, and great ecstasy. So this great ecstasy, if we read in this verse, it is mentioned as Mahabhav. So this Mahabhav is experienced by Srimati Radharani. So this prema vriddhi, so this Krishna prem, when it is increasing, vriddhi hoti hai jab krame, so gradually it increases and then it goes through various stages like sneh, man, pranay, rag, anurag, bhav and Mahabhav. Yaiche bija ikshurasa gudha khanda sar sharakara sita mechari uttam mechariyar. The gradual development of prema may be compared to different stages of sugar. First there is the seed of sugar cane, then the juice extracted from the cane. When this juice is boiled, it forms sugar molasses, then solid molasses, then sugar candy, rock candy, and finally lozenges. So this is how, just like how sugar cane is also sweet, sugar cane juice is also sweet, but when we boil that and we get liquid molasses, that is sweeter, and then we get sugar and candy and rock, and so the whole progression is there, and though everything is sweet and yet there is different degrees of sweetness. So similarly, the love for Krishna, Krishna Prem, also has different stages of development. Ei sab Krishna bhakti ras sthai bhava sthai bhave mile yodi vibhava anubhava. All these stages combined are called sthai bhav or continuous love of Godhead and devotional service. In addition to these stages, there are Vaibhav and Anubhav. So we will stop here and continue from here and get into different stages in our next session. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Also, I request you all to go through the purports of the section which we discussed today. Prabhupada has written detailed, elaborate concepts. So, to understand more about this philosophy which is being given as Sutra to Rupa Gosvāmī, Prabhupada has written the purports. So, hope that you will all go through the purports before we meet next. And please do share your learnings. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.